start in a few seconds.
To be an athlete, it's discipline and stubbornness. You're gonna fail, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail. And it's using those failures as lessons to get better. My name's Phil Sutherland. I'm the founder and president of the Team TT1 Foundation. We've been invited to race the Tour of Rwanda in 2010. So here's a photo of my dear friend Francois Gishoma of the Rwanda Diabetes Association. And I went to Francois and I said, Francois, how would you feel if I brought blood glucose meters and test strips? Francois got on his knees and with tears in his eyes said, Phil, my people need you. Please come to our country. And we brought 400 meters and 37,000 blood glucose strips. And over the next year, we brought another 250,000 strips. In the last 3 years, where diabetes in the US has increased by 3%, diabetes in Rwanda has increased by 140% because they have access to the diagnostic tools. If you have diabetes in Rwanda, if you have diabetes in most of Africa, you suffer with this disease. That's it. That's all they know. And I'd like to quote Bono, where you're born should not dictate whether you live or die. And for diabetes, it very much does.
I met many diabetics in Rwanda, and I know they deserve to live. My name is Crispin Gishoma. I am the director of Rwanda Diabetes Association.
She was diagnosed in 2004, and now it has been 10 years with diabetes.
Does she have regular access to test strips?
Strips. When they're available, she gets that, but it's not permanent. Her brother's name is Nyosenga Sustain, and he was diagnosed when he was 17. Sometimes they didn't have money to buy insulin, and then they waited until they get money to buy the insulin. And he passed away when he was 28.
I'd like you to imagine that you're the mother or father of a child with diabetes here in the US. And you've got 3 other children that you have to take care of. There's medication out there, but there's no way to pay for it. And so you have to make a choice. Is it a better decision just to let that child die so that the rest of your family can live a good life?
The challenge is not only access to medicine, but it's also a social problem they may get from having diabetes, because their potentials are ignored.
How far away is the hospital from here?
To go to the hospital, it takes 3 hours on foot. Now she's taking a motorcycle to get there. It costs about 20 US still.
20 US dollars.
Procedure was about to get married. When you get married in Rwanda, it means work as well. You put your efforts together to work for the family. And Perseid didn't have a leg, and so she becomes useless. She couldn't get married. When they told her it was diabetes, she fainted because she knew diabetes, it's very hard to live with. The amount of strips she was supposed to use for 3 months, has been using them for 6 months. And she was keeping the few strips left for when she feels very bad.
When people come in hospital in Rwanda, they're given insulin prescription and they're sent home. I'm Brianna Sutherland, Program Director of Medical and Governmental Affairs in Team TT1 Foundation and Phil's wife. After that, whether it is because of lack of insulin or because of lack of test strips, people have complications.
The family accepted it very well.
In Rwanda, a family is everything. I met Claude this year. He was living with his uncle. And when the uncle saw that Claude is going to be a very hard problem for the family, they decided to chase him away. Then I met him while he was looking for his family. That's when I decided to take him into the center.
Crispin manages the Rwanda Diabetes Association. 20 children live there for 6 months, and every child has type 1 diabetes. They learn how to manage their diabetes. The other part of the education center teaches the children some vocational skills. It's really setting up the children for success so they can start a career so that they can pay for both their diabetes supplies as well as their health insurance. We're here as part of Team Type 1 Foundation to give a very special gift. 1 million test strips and 900 blood glucose meters. It's enough so that children of type 1 in Rwanda will be able to check their blood sugars 3 times a day.
What we're hoping to do with our million test strip donation in Rwanda this year is give them a year's lease, a year's chance to fight.
This is weird.
We're not here to give gifts year after year after year. We're here to work with one of the top governments in Africa so that they can take the charge and make this sustainable. The Rwandan government has done an amazing job in the development and distribution of HIV medication. We're here to work with the Ministry of Health and replicate what they did for HIV into the field of type 1 diabetes.
There was a global fund for HIV. And that means there was a global mobilization. And this is probably what is needed for non-communicable diseases in general and specific diseases as diabetes. There's no way that you will manage to treat all the kids that are in need in the world if there is no decrease of price.
I talked to the Minister of Health, the Honorable Agnes Bingawahu, and I say, Agnes, we can provide this medication to you, but we need you to make it sustainable. She says, I don't have the money. It kills me not to be able to take care of these children, but I don't have funding allocation for type 1 diabetes.
People with diabetes are not equal. The international health organizations are covering for decades malaria, HIV, and tuberculosis, but not diabetes. What we want to do is unite these big, powerful international health organizations with governments in developing countries and show them how to provide a sustainable model for people with diabetes.
My name is Munezar Dorcas. I'm 14 years old. I have type 1.
Dorcas is very lucky. She has accessibility to supplies, living close to the adequate services, and friend and family support. I think these are the main keys of success.
The picture we want to paint is the past, present, and the future. What we have in front of us is a mother, a family who's lost a child from diabetes because they didn't have access to medication. Now, that's the past, because that time has gone away. We're in the present. Here's a young person with diabetes. They've made it this far because there's been access to insulin. Not on a consistent basis, but enough to stay alive. But you see, they're already suffering from complications. There's a leg that's been lost because they didn't have the tools they needed to manage this disease. Now we see the future. He's had insulin, and now he's getting the gift of test strips from Team Type 1.
We are together. We are
Absolutely.
together.
And with what we do with the government, this child's life is set up to be no different than a child here in the United States, in Europe, and in the other developed worlds.
I'm not afraid of my future because I know I will live longer.
The Team Type 1 Foundation is here to ensure that no matter where you go in the world, if you see a child with diabetes, you know that that person has sustainable access to medicine, and that person has a chance at living a great life with this disease. And we hope that you'll help us with that, because we can't do it without your support. We're going to develop a whole platform of heroes with diabetes out there in the world. We're going to be funding college scholarships to students with type 1 diabetes who want to use their sport as a platform to educate, empower, and inspire. And it's my goal that no matter where you are in the world with diabetes, there's someone that you can look up to and say, I want to be like him, I want to be like her.
Team Type 1!
We are Team Type 1. We're here for the fight, and we're asking you to join our team. Welcome to the team.